rhyme, knocking no rhyme, showing pops of rhyme. If we ain't talking biz, then get the fuck out my way. If we ain't talking biz, then get the fuck out my way. If we ain't talking biz, then get the fuck out my way. If we ain't talking biz, then get the fuck out my way. If we ain't talking biz, then get the fuck out my way. If we ain't talking biz.
Alrighty, man. We're here with A.II.Z, man. How you doing today,
Man,
bro?
I'm doing good, G. We out here in San Diego, good weather.
Real shit. It is a really good day today, man. You doing good?
Yeah, just chilling all day, smoking, listening to good music, fucking day off, you know? Get some good food with my lady.
Word. You just dropped the album too, man. How you feel about it?
Fucking excited, man. Like, everyone's giving me some good feedback. I'm getting some good feedback from the city, good feedback from the internet. People I don't even know just hitting me up, dropping DMs. Really appreciate that shit.
Yeah, you had a whole release party and everything. I saw that. That was dope. How'd it
Yeah,
go?
we got lit, man. The whole house was packed. Shout out to Hip Hop Wednesdays. They fucking let me throw my little release party there. Carri and shit. Carlo. Those guys are my guys right there, man. They put it on for the culture, for the city, like really like putting people out there, giving them platforms to do what the fuck they love.
Yeah, man. So where are you from exactly?
South Bay.
South Bay?
Yeah, I grew up in Imperial Beach.
Hey, shout out South Bay.
Shout out Ivy.
South Bay, man. Real talk. That's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah, I'm a beach kid, man. Born and raised.
Hey, who can hate on that, though? Honestly?
Nobody, man. I was loving it out there, you know? There's a little mixture of everything, you know? You had graffiti, you had skating, you had, you know what I mean, the little essay fools, you know? Everybody kind of connected in certain ways. It's funny because, like, you would have a homie that's a homie, but then, like, you didn't get along with this guy that was his best friend, like, on that side. Just different groups of people, you know what I mean? So it's very, like, diverse.
So 21 grams, man, like, what did that derive on? Because I know ounces, you know, 28 grams.
Yeah, it's 28 grams.
So,
that's what the homie Samurai brought up. He was like, yo, that's 7 grams short of an ounce. Like,
like someone gets skinned.
He was like, yeah, what happened? What's the story behind it? So basically, 21 grams. There was a doctor and a scientist that back in the day he did a research about like bodies dying and shit, and he was weighing them out. Like it was during the early 20th century, so like there was a lot of polio and like smallpox. People were just dying. And he had the idea to make a bed that was like basically human scale, like to the fucking T. And he would do these test runs and find out like, you know, after all secretion and all that shit happening and shit, like how much weight was left over, you know? And there was always like about 21 grams that was left over that like no one could like account for, you know? So he thought it was the soul, and he went deeper and deeper into this whole like situation of like trying to figure out and like do these tests. But he got super like hate from the scientific world and stuff. It was never proven or nothing, you know, but it bred out into pop culture a little bit, and it's kind of like a theory that a lot of people like stand behind, you know, or like think about. So it's something I thought about when I was dropping this album. It's like it's a piece of my soul, you know. So it's something that's never been proven, but you know, like I kind of like the idea of it, you know, like that your soul has a mass, you know.
Yeah, spiritual.
Yeah, 21 grams is basically the theory of your soul weighing 21 grams. It's the mass, and if you check out my cover art. I worked that shit out with Carino. That shit was fire. Shout out Carino. He does a lot of headless photos. He had a whole series he did. Okay. So when I seen that shit a year ago, I was like, damn, I really want to do that. It'd be dope to incorporate it with my music and like use it for something. So when I came up with the idea of 21 grams, that jumped back in my mind. So I hit him up and like, hey, let's connect. I got the shirt made, so I didn't have to have no writing. I didn't want no writing on the cover. I just wanted the artwork, you know? So that's why the shirt says 21 grams, let you know. Rocking the Grave Shift hat, because that's, shout out Grave Shift, that's me and my boys right there. That's the collective. So, like, I had to put that on. And then, like, him doing the headless is kind of like a metaphor for transparency, you know? Like, 21 grams is your soul. Like, I'm faceless right there. It's, like, transparent, like, you know?
I like that, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. And I also noticed on like Out My Way, for example, you had a lot of Southern influence. Right? You had the chop and screw, but I noticed that in like other music by you as well.
Definitely.
So I was wondering like what are some of like the Southern influences you've had like coming out?
UGK off top.
UGK,
you know?
hey, okay.
UGK off top, you know, Pimp C, Bun B. Like it's crazy, like the time era that we grew up in, because I know we're like kind of the same age.
Word.
You know, that's when MTV and hip hop took over in those early 2000s, and you got to get influenced by a lot of different like cultures and music that like otherwise you wouldn't be, you know. So like that shit just gets soaked to you when you're a kid and you're like 13 and you're getting into hip hop, and like you start hearing different types of shit, and it just fucking like builds up, and then later on you don't realize it, but it comes out in your music. It starts leaking out you know, like everything that went in, you know, is kind of leaking out. crazy.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I love Houston, man. Shout out Texas.
Shout out Texas, bro.
Yeah, like
definitely
real shit. Yeah, definitely, man.
When did you come up with the idea to sample movie clips and things like that, or more so, what made the decisions behind that?
Sampling the movie clips. I would say like it's just like finding something. When you hear something from a movie and it's like, damn, like that matches. So later on you want to like, you know, see if it works. And when it works out, you know what I mean? Like filling that space to give the listener something that's gonna like lead up to that drop, you know what I mean? It's kind of like when I like to use like movie clips, it's usually right before the drop into like the verse, you know?
So it's like a
like
nice
incorporated. Like if you check the first song out, The Ghetto, it starts off with a clip from a movie with the, you know, the actor Pootie Tang?
Yeah.
I forget his name, but he plays Pootie Tang. That's him in the beginning of my album, and he's just talking to a homie in the coffin, and he's dead. He's like, oh, I see you dead, homie, but I need that money still, like, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how I feel, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm at that moment where, like, I think I deserve my pay. I think I deserve my money, you know? Like, I'm good enough, and I'm well built enough to where, like, this shit needs to become a residual for me, you know what I mean? Like, can't just do this shit for fun no more.
Word.
Yeah.
And you know,
even though we gotta keep it fun, but, you know, need that money.
Exactly. You gotta get your pay, man.
It's time.
Gotta
dude.
get your
Grave
pay.
Shift, bro.
If there's one thing, I love I.O.U., man, especially with the flip that you use as sample. How did you feel when you first heard that beat, bro?
Oh, that's a shout out Masego, and I think it's FKJ, I think his name is.
Man, Tadao.
Super, yeah, Tadao, yeah, that's the song. It's fucking beautiful. I've listened to that shit like hella times, and one time we were just in the studio, and the homie that mastered my whole album, Ash Catcher, we were like towards the end. It was actually the last song that I made for the album, and we were chilling, and he brought up that sample, and he was just riding with it, and he was like, oh, I love this. And at first I was sort of like, it's so obvious, you know, and people already know that song, they love it, you know what I mean? But like once he started dropping the drums on that shit, I was like, oh man, I'm feeling it. I can't help but feel it.
How do you feel about Latin presence and representation in hip hop specifically?
In hip hop?
Yeah, you got your Afro Latinos like Cardi B. You got your Bad Bunnies as well. Yeah. Like, you know, you have all the way Spanish. You have kind of like just kind of being of the Latin culture in general. Yeah. Like, how do you feel about the representation and the presence in hip hop currently?
Right now, that shit is banging. It's a big thing, you know, like all Latin culture and Spanish is just popping up in all the charts and shit. Like a lot of number ones and shit. You know? So like I hella fucking feel proud that that's happening right now, you know, like that's part of my culture. Like it gives kids like something to look up to. Like I recently just got a message like that shit touched the fuck out of my heart. Is that somebody messaged me and said you know rap is a black culture, you know, it comes from African Americans, but it's spread out to where everyone can have a voice in this culture. When you put that voice out there, growing up, you know, like you don't get a lot of faces, you know, you don't see a lot of faces like that, you know, like, and now that it's happening, you're gonna see the representation later on for the artists to come, such as, you know, myself at this moment, or just like a 6-year-old, 7-year-old Hispanic Latin kid that's like listening to me or listening to Bad Bunny, Rossi Rock, shout out.
Yeah, shout out Rossi.
That was putting on for the fucking all my Mexicans. You know what I mean? Straight up, like, I'm proud of my people, you know what I mean? And you're gonna see like the influence refluctuate in a couple years when these new artists start coming out and mixing, you know what I mean, their languages and cultures. It's just gonna pop.
I think it's a great contribution, man. I think it's come out with a lot of great music, so I'm right there with you, man. I'm excited to see what the future holds as far as that's concerned. So I remember you bringing up earlier in the conversation Grave Shift, man. Can you take us through that? I know that's your team.
Yeah, Grave Shift, that's my boys right there. We all connected together. We're an entertainment company coming up, you know. We just got a few things licensed, so it's becoming a real thing soon. We'd always link and get up in the studio, and we were, you know, starting to feel the vibe and learning what it is to make music in the studio and shit. And we'd always come together around 9 o'clock. And that always led into like, you know, 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Right.
And slowly we started making a joke, like, you know, we're clocking in. It's a grave shift. We clocking in. So like later on it just became a thing, like grave shifts, and we were just saying it. And it just became, that was the thing, you know. And then fucking shout out Samurai, had the little studio and shit. So that's where we always were. And one day he was like, yo, we're gonna run with this. And we were like, all right, let's see what's good. And he made the logo, bam, bam. And the rest is history. We out here. And shit.
So I guess my last question for you, I'm personally genuinely curious because I'm a big fan of visuals.
Okay.
Do you have any music videos on the way? I know you work with Joe
definitely.
Dank a lot with that. And
Yeah, shout out Joe Dank.
Shout out Joe Dank, man. For
that
real.
does all my fucking videos. That's my guy right there. You know what I mean? It's hard to have the money to make shit happen sometimes. So when you have a team and you have your people and each person can contribute this or that, put down together and make shit happen, it's dope. And I'm thankful that Joe Dank's all about that videography. He has a bunch of equipment. He's always buying new equipment, and he's always trying to grow and take it to the next level. Out of everyone, that guy's a little crazy. He's intense. He's pushing right now. He's like, yo, we gonna do this. This is fucking happening. Like, get up. Where you at? What's the GP? What's the game plan? You know what I mean? So it's the next step. And prior to this, like, my 3 videos before, more just like, you know what I mean? You rapping in front of the camera. It's like you getting going, learning shit, getting your people behind you. You just rap, you know?
Word.
It's like that, you know? So now I'm trying to get into like really making the video and art, you know what I mean? Concepts and intros, outros, cut breaks in the middle, actual acting, like, you know what I mean?
I'm excited for this,
you know
bro.
what I mean?
Let me know if you need a part, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Sure, you know
I'm working on my little acting scope. I appreciate you coming with us, man, and having this interview, man. Once
appreciate
again,
you, dude.
You know what I mean? 21 Grams is out right now. Go cop, buy it, stream it, post it, all that.
Stay ready.
And where can they find you?
Find me on Spotify, Apple, Tidal, all that shit, you know? Got a little bit of SoundCloud. I'm gonna get the album up on SoundCloud by this week, and we can keep it pushing, you know?
How about social media and all that?
Instagram, you can find me on IG, AYE.TWO.ZE. So it's like A.II.Z, how it sounds, but with the dots in between.
Alrighty,
That's
man.
how it goes.
You heard it here first,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you,
Go
man.
copy it. Appreciate you, brother.
Grave Shift.
Hey.
Told me get in where you fit in. I ain't